Well, it's of course Monday, the most boring day starting the week. But however, for today I decided because of the circumstance that I put on my special announcement for all of you due to the fact that I work back in Comic Con starting the following day, I decided not to push too much self and the stress because I have to wake up really near early in the morning. So I decided, you know what? Let's just do one review and, of course, a couple of news updates, and it's going to be a very short one for all of you. Now, of course, a review we're going to be doing is from the Japanese promotion DDT with Wrestle Peter Pan. Now, some of you may know this or not. I always say every promotion has a somewhat version of WrestleMania. Now, of course, a TNA has Slammiversary, AEW has All Out, of course, there's Wrestle Kingdom and that sort of thing. However, for DDT, their version of WrestleMania is, of course, Wrestle Peter Pan, and of course, we have some interesting matches that are taking place. We do have, of course, the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship on the line. We even have the KOD six-man tag team titles on the line, the KOD tag team titles, and of course, the top prize, the KOD Openweight Championship. And of course, we do see Konosuke Takeshita making his presence return to face Masato Tanaka, and of course, we do have Desperado making his presence to take on Chris Brooks in a no disqualification match. So there's a lot of good matches taking place. So we'll be discussing about that. And as for our news updates, we're only going to be discussing, of course, Kitsune Women's Wrestling for some updates on on the event for the San Diego show on August 17th. Love my show. And of course, a very interesting development by Bobby Lashley. As you know, you may have noticed that Bobby Lashley's name has been removed to the internal roster. Well, apparently there is certain information that was spread upon revealing what exactly was going on. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is not on this episode, I can either put it on a separate video or the following episode. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, do the United Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been said. I believe it's time to shut up and put up. It's time for our very first and only review, and this is from Japanese promotion DDT Pro Wrestling. Okie dokie, DDT Pro Wrestling. As I mentioned before, every promotion has their WrestleMania event, and this one is one of them. Wrestle Peter Pan. Now I know some of you are thinking, Peter Pan, the boy who, lives forever, that sort of thing. Yes, that's a topic. Basically, this is one of their bigger shows that they do every year. Um, yeah, so it's a real fun event, and this one recently took place this past Sunday. Now, let's begin with our first match. We have, of course, is a six-man tag match. We have Illusion, Uni, and Yuya Kuroku. They take on Kazumi Suni, Yuki Ishida, and Keigo Nakamura. Now, nothing too significant about this match, but however, it was a pretty impressive. But the one person impressed me the most in this match is none other than Keigo Nakamura. Now, the reason I say that I was impressed by him was from the very beginning, he was like a young boy still in training, but I felt bad for him because he's been injured constantly. But now it seems that he is now better at what he's doing. He picked up in a very fantastic win when he did a long distance headbutt onto onto Uni, and just like that, he picked up the win. So, not bad. So we'll see what Keigo Nakamura has in his future. Now, our next match, we have another six-man tag team match. We have Makoto Oishi, Soma Takao, and of course, Nori Sawa takes on, of course, Hisamaru Taijima, Shonichiro Kawamata, and of course Toto Owashi. Now, not much. Some of these wrestlers I may not like maybe only two of them, Oshi and of course Owashi. They're the only two I can think of. But however, it was a very interesting match. But however, in the end of this match, we have of course Karu, who actually applied a lariat onto Oshi, and I thought it was like, okay, that's pretty impressive from there. But yes, this guy is dressed up in a suit in his match. It almost similar to the ARS guy, Bray Wyatt's dad. You know, if you remember that gimmick he had. Now our next match, a very fun one. This one we had, of course, Super Sandango Machine taking on Kazuhiki Irada. Now, of course, during certain times before the match even begins, um, Sasadango actually likes to do promo for food, merchandise, and all that. But however, he had to get the match going because he faces against Hirada. Those who know Hirada, he's in fact a guy who likes to dance, put on these fantastic shades. Now, however, he brought in a couple of these masked guys. I don't know much about what he was trying to do. He even tried to whack, of course, Sasadango with a barbed wire baseball bat, but he couldn't, you know, pull it through. However, I don't know what Super Sasadango Machine was attempting to do. I think he was trying to copy and mimic, of course, that alter ego that Yishin Liger had, you know, Kishin Liger. But that failed because it was Irada with a roll up onto him, giving him the win. So just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Hikaru Sato, Shuji Ishikawa, and of course, Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki. He takes on this guy named Tomitsu Matsunaga, Yuki Naya, and of course, Jun Akiyama. So there was going to be a lot of good moments on this one. Now, of course, we know that Sato has helped Suzuki before during that one match he had with the boss himself, Tagagi. But in this case, it didn't do any well for him because it was Naya who actually put Sato away with a very impressive lariat. I don't know what kind of lariat he applied. I mean, not a lariat, suplex. I was like, wow, that's very impressive by him. So, not bad. Now, our next match, this is for the DDT Ironman Heavy Metalweight Championship. Now, I know some of you are thinking, J-Rod, you said this belt is a 24/7 type of belt. Well, it is, but it can be defended in a regular setting. However, there's a certain twist to this. Whoever holds the DDT Ironman Heavy Metalweight Championship in a wrestling setting, they have the opportunity to bring in friends as weapons to do their bidding. So basically, we have Danshuko Dino versus the boss Shinjiro Tagagi. Now, these two guys had clashed before, time and time again on various occasions. If you guys haven't forgotten, of course, Tagagi had a deal with Dino when he formed the Pheromones, even though the Pheromones are completely disbanded. But however, there was a lot of surprises coming. We had Yoshihiko helping up Danshuko, Michael Nakasawa, who we haven't seen for quite some time, even was made his return there too. But the biggest surprise, people wasn't too sure if it's true or not. Um, we had the return of the Golden Star himself. We're talking about Kota Ibushi. Yes, folks, the same Kota Ibushi who teamed up with Kenny Omega many years ago. Those who don't know this or not, who are barely getting to know Kota Ibushi, those who don't know, DDT Pro Wrestling is where he got to start, and that's exactly where he's been. So he was helping Danshuko Dino, but it was, of course, Dino who picked up the win with a pile driver. However, things got a little interesting, of course. Kota Ibushi even talked to his former boss, Takagi, and he asked him if it's okay if he can come back for one last time in DDT, and that kind of brought him into tears and emotional. I think many people miss Kota Ibushi being in DDT. I know what some of you are going to say, but he did well in New Japan. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like he didn't get the proper, you know, response that he wanted. I mean, remember what happened with New Japan before he was released? It was a chaotic time, but um, DDT will always be the home where it started for him, and not to mention this is where he met his best friend and tag partner, of course, Kenny Omega. So, but Tagagi did mention in a post-match comment that he would love to see Kenny Omega make his return. We do know that DDT does have a working relationship with AEW because of that. So we'll see what happens from here now with them. Now, let's move on to the next match. Our next match is a KOD six-man tag team titles in a four-way match. Team number one, we have the members of 37 Kamina, Toi, and Shumna Katsumara. They team up with, of course, Aja Kong. So that's going to be interesting. We have, of course, the current champions, Takashi Masada, Masahiro Takanashi, and Antonio Honda being there. We have Damnation TA, Kanon, MJ Paul, and Daisuke Sasaki. And then finally we have Smile Squash, consisting of Yasu Urano, Akito, and Harashima. Now, recently, the only reason this match happened, from my understanding, is that, of course, Damnation TA are once again causing more trouble, stealing belts that doesn't belong to them. They target these belts, but everybody else wanted a piece of it. However, this became an elimination match, but this match ended with, of course, with Sasaki applying a crossface onto Masada and allowing them to become the brand new KOD six-man tag team champion. So that's pretty much how it ended. Now, our next match, we have Konosuke Takeshita taking on Masato Tanaka. Now, some of you may say, wait a minute, is he still with AEW? Yes, he still is, but at the same time, he is also doing a tour with New Japan, being part of the G1 Climax. So basically, I'm sure that DDT are going to work their way around to have him be participating. What it did, I mean, this was a very tough battle. Of course, Masato Tanaka, one of the veteran wrestlers we met, but of course, the one striking moment was between when, of course, Takeshita applied a forearm strike onto Tanaka, allowing him to pick up the win, and I thought it was very impressive. But however, Takeshita gave a standing ovation to Tanaka and all that, so he just left it like that. Give me a minute, folks. My throat's a little dry. Excuse me. All right, let's move on. Our next match is for the KOD tag team titles. We have, of course, Team Noah, consistent of Asushi Kotoge and Go Shiozaki, taking on the members from Burning, consistent of Yuji Ino and, of course, the leader of Burning, Tetsuya Endo. Now, of course, Go Shiozaki is the one person you don't want to mess with, but Ino wanted a piece of him because he wants to clash with them, and that's exactly what he was doing. But however, in the end, it was, of course, the leader of Burning that picked up the win for his team, and he applied a shooting star press onto, of course, Kotoge, allowing for him and Ino to retain the belts. Now, our next match is a no disqualification match. We have Chris Brooks versus El Desperado from New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's right, the same Despy. So he was there. And once again, as you guys know, we've seen how incredible he is. Even when we see moments where he's wrestling without his mask, he looks more like a goddamn demon, guys. I'm like, it's not. It looks frightening when you look at it, but when you see that he is willing to go the distance, he did everything. He had like barbed wire boards, all that crap. But however, it took only a couple of pinche locos to try to put Chris Brooks away, and that's exactly what Despy did. He put him away. So, so yeah, that's how it ends. Now, our main event is for the KOD Openweight Championship, and this is a showdown between two brethren, Maho and Yuki Ueno. Now, if you guys know this or not, Maho and Yuki Ueno are part of the same team, 37 Kamina, that they founded along with Takeshita and Shunna Katsumata. However, Mao decided to leave um, 37th Kamina due to the fact that he was desiring this belt. So that kind of put him in that predicament. But however, Eno, who has vowed that he was going to carry this promotion on his back, he kept that promise that he was going to do that. But it took every ounce of power that both men did do. But it only took a Renhi by Yuki Ueno to retain the belt. And then, of course, he did a promo, talked to Mao, and then Mao just left. But of course, Mao did came back and hugged it out with his friend. I'm sure many people probably thought that this was over with 37 coming. I mean, they were one of my favorite factions in DDT, even but when Takeshita was there. But yes, so that's pretty much it. What we have right now with DDT, and I apologize for only doing one review, but due to the circumstances, this is how he ends. But as of right now, let's just move on to do our last and final thing, and that is news updates. Okay, for our news updates, so let's only begin with our course updates with the promotion, and this one is only for the Kitsune women's wrestling. Now remember, I did mention that they added another show a day before the August 18th show in LA. They did added the August 17th in, of course, here in my hometown of San Diego, California. Now, they announced another wrestler that will be booked this particular day, and that her name is Jada Stone. I have heard of her. May have seen her a few times in the Independents. I just cannot remember where, but she's been announced. Now, good news is coming in from Kitsune. As you know, we have only one championship belt, and that belt is currently being in the possession of Unagi Sayaka. She is the Kitsune women's wrestling, the world champion. However, they just announced a brand new championship that in fact was now been announced, and there's going to be a tournament in that happening on that particular day, and this is for the North American Championship. Let me display. It's only a four woman match, so basically we have like a quarterfinal, then a semifinal, then the final. Let me pull up who's participating for that. Here it is. We have Jada Stone, Savi, Kitsune, and Lee. So basically that's how it is. So the first one side will be Jada versus Savi, and then of course there's Kitsune and Lee. So whoever walks out. Now I will put a photo of that championship at the end of this of the news update, so you guys can take a look at it, and we'll go from there. So yeah. Now, you may have heard for our developments that of course WWE has no longer Bobby Lashley in the internal roster or something. I don't know. But anyway, it was reported by PW Insider that they made a Bobby Lashley a contract offer, but it wasn't the one made him want to immediately sign. So this is exactly what PW Insider reports. Let me pull that up real quick. This is what they said. In case of Bobby Lashley, we were told that WWE contract offer made, but it wasn't the one that immediately made him jump to sign. As one source commented, that Lashley has strong considerations seeing what he would be worth onto the market. So basically, he's possibly going to explore his options outside of WWE. I think there were those that felt many. Why was the Hurt Business was closed on? It was a pretty good faction, but apparently there was a lot, and there was theory about saying they didn't want them to clash with Bloodline. I mean, I thought it was a real ridiculous. We could have seen it, but thanks a lot, Vince. You ruined that for us. But yes, so we'll see what happens from here on out with Bobby Lashley moving forward. So as of this moment, we'll end things right here, and we call it a day. Okay, guys, so I hope everybody enjoys this episode. As I said before, I apologize for doing only one review. But as I said before, due to the circumstances, going back to my regular day job during this entire week, there's going to be some. We'll see what's going to happen because as we speak, there's still some shows I haven't seen yet. Of course, the Stardom ones that recently took place on the 19th and the 20th. But as we speak, we have the latest one coming out as well. But we'll see how things will progress. And also, there's another Mighty Gold show that was also put out. So there's going to be certain things that I'll be held back, but we'll see how this rolls. Now, I did mention that I might minimize them to one or two reviews per day, starting from Tuesday to Sunday or so. But however, I'll see how things will go from here on out. So, um, yeah. So we'll see how this one will go. I'm not gonna make any promises because I don't like to keep promises, but let's just hope I can try to do more than one if it's possible. But as of this moment, we'll just leave things as it is, and I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.